Good evening. This is my 29th year of teaching non-credit ESL at City College, all at various Chinatown campuses. I've taught basic language skills, vocational ESL, and citizenship classes to countless students. I don't wear my AFT 2121 shirt every day, but I do wear these buttons every day. On the bottom is the AFT 2121. On top is 我是私立大学. I am City College, and in the middle is a button designed by our late colleague Nadia Skolnick, and it reads, City College is San Francisco. Not City College of San Francisco, City College is San Francisco. City College is a community college in the truest sense, a college of and for the community. The building we're sitting in right now would not exist without the efforts of and advocacy of the San Francisco community. The restoration of our full accreditation would not have happened without the united efforts and advocacy of our community supporters and allies, including labor and city leaders. We exist to serve the needs of San Francisco community.
Thank you so much.
This is City College is San Francisco.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lin Tan. 20 years ago, I was an ESL student at City College. Now, I am an ESL teacher here. And a great teacher. 10 years ago, my son was an ESL student here. Now, he's an excellent data writer at the University of San Francisco. Through my own experience, I know City College is so important for new immigrants. Please look at these faces and their class photos, and they'll tell you City College is their home, sweet home. They learn English, they found confidence, happiness, and their dreams here. So please, don't cut classes.
Don't cut classes or teachers.
And so,
It's Olga Osborne.
Osborne, thank you.
Yes, and I do believe that City College is the heart of San Francisco. And it is to many of the people in this community for sure. I'm really surprised that we can't continue with City College as we know it as a community college when San Francisco has been specified as the richest metropolitan city in the United States. And California is also the first economy in the United States and the 5th largest economy in the world. So it doesn't make sense that we cannot afford City College as we know it and to do these budget cuts. Also, the state of Tennessee is now leading the country in trying to getting free community college, free 4-year college for all its natives. How can Tennessee do it and we cannot? Also, New York is also in the lead too with this. So why don't we be a leader in the United States and not let go of our beautiful City College?
Thank you, ma'am.
Hi, I am a teacher in the non-credit and credit business department. And so the vast majority of our students are not interested in getting an AA degree. They're interested of improving their skills so they can maintain and live in the Bay Area. We have many students that aren't even from the Bay Area. I have students who actually come from Sacramento. And so what we're doing in the non-credit program is we're trying to have stackable certificates. And what's going on is we have the basic certificates, but by the time they try to get the advanced, the classes are cut. And so they're just doing the basics. And so what we're trying to do is keep the classes. We've already heard that we have so many students and then the class drops. Well, what if the student has been trying to get a certificate for 2 years and they need one more class and that class is dropped and they have to wait a semester? They don't have time.
Thank you. The next set of speakers are Cruz, David Harrington, Megan Dewick, thank you, Teresa Chapman, and Carrie Chan. So Marcus, 1 minute.
Thanks for having me speak. My name is Marcos Cruz. I'm a student at City College. I just, I've talked a few times on this issue to the board, and I just would like to highlight an experience that I had, right? My class was cut last semester at 104A, the last class. You need to graduate with an electronics associates in science. That class was cut from under me. We had no idea that was going to happen. It's not technically legal for that class to be cut because it's at the end of a program, right? We need that class. The class was cut nonetheless, and I had to come and do this to get it back. This semester, classes are cut, and we have to do this to get them back. My question is, if the classes can be given back just like that, why are they cut in the first place? To me, that's just, it's mismanagement of the college. It's not how it's supposed to go, right? You're not supposed to say, I'm going to cut that class, but wait a second, I actually can't cut that class because it's going to cause a mess in the electronics department. Wait a second, we can't cut Asian American department classes because they're actually high productivity. Why don't you get it right the first time? Why do we have to come out and tell you how to get it right?
Thank you.
It seems
Fair.
fair.
David Harrington, Hugh Pelkford, and then Tariq Khazar after that.
Hello, everyone. My name is Matt Parkhurst, and I'm a faculty member, American Sign Language teacher at 3 different campuses. I want to thank you to begin with for your continued and ongoing support of the American Sign Language program. Just briefly, we know that cuts are happening. We know that train has already left the station. However, for further consideration, we want to be like a phoenix and rise from the ashes. In the World Languages Department, we had an average cut of 13-point-some-odd%. But the American Sign Language program, because we are not yet a certificate or degree program, and we don't have an online presence, we were cut by nearly 50%. And so because of that, we had to lay off 2 of our instructors, and it really affects our students. We've gained so much interest recently in people who want to become interpreters, want to become teachers of the deaf, who want to become a DHA, deaf and hard of hearing teachers. San Francisco Unified, who's here today, I just want to thank you for your continued support.
Thank you, sir. Carrie Chan and Jared Braderman and Matthew Parkhurst.
Cool breeze. Hi, Carrie Chan here. I'll keep it short. Second year ASL student, City College. My career started there back in the 70s when I graduated high school and started City College. I'm still there now. The ASL class is beneficial. Someone like me, I'm losing my hearing. So that's the only option I got is to learn sign language. They don't even think hearing aids would work for me. And I'm not the only person like that. And the deaf community is always overlooked in this, throughout the nation. You never hear anything about deaf people or anything being done. We don't have closed captioning, nothing even here for us. So City College is primarily the only option we have to learn and to get out there in the world, be able to, some of us want to be interpreters. I'm a realtor when I can hear, and I have yet to find an ASL an ASL realtor. I'm striving for that before I lose my hearing, and I can do that. So if you shut off the ASL now, then where are we to go? Leave the city, Fremont, Berkeley. If I have to go there 3 nights a week, I got to work too. I wouldn't be able to do that. So if you guys would, really think hard, please don't cut our ASL classes.
Thank you. Thank you. The next set of speakers are Tariq Khazar, Wynn Kaufman, Duncan Alexander, and Marsha Weisbrook.
Over the last year, we've watched teachers, communities from West Virginia to the West Coast engage in struggles for education justice. All of the demands that they made, every single one of them, are the embodiment of social justice, of education justice. We're going in the opposite direction. We cannot go in the opposite direction and then pretend to be an institution which stands for social justice, which stands for humanity. This thing that we're doing is called the business model. We were told that when the ACCJC took over the school, the business model has no morality. We have to listen to the stories, These are human beings. Every person a story, every person a life. They're not numbers. When we behave the way that we behave, we turn them into numbers. It has to stop.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Marsha Weisbrot, and I teach in the older adults program known as OLAD. We teach people who are up to 90 and more years old. We teach people who, our students are on all the different campuses, senior centers, and even nursing homes. They depend on our classes for lifelong learning to increase their skills, to maintain the skills they have. We teach classes in the arts, we teach classes in movement and body dynamics, and very entry-level computer skills as well. Our students are amazing. I have a student in my class who's 86 years old and still rides his bicycle to class. Says he comes every week and says, I love this class. I don't know where I would go if it wasn't here. Please, don't cut any more of our classes. We've lost 10 of them this semester. There are more cuts proposed for the fall. Our students need these classes just the way other students need them to graduate, to learn ESL. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good evening, students and colleagues and board and administration. In the 40 years that I've worked here, I have never seen a more bleak vision of our college. It's sabotaging, I see it as a sabotage of the future of our students and our community. First, it sabotages equity by denying access. When you limit the number of classes and you limit the times they're offered, our working class students can't juggle and say, oh, I can just go take another section. It doesn't work. It denies access, it denies equity. It denies student success when you want more students in a classroom. We all know that fewer students in a classroom is better for student success. It denies student success. It denies faculty stability. 30 classes were cut in my department. That equals 6 part-time jobs with benefits, or a lot of part-timers without benefits. We're going to lose the intelligent, young, smart teachers that we have because they don't see a future here anymore. When you undermine equity and student success and faculty stability, you're undermining quality education, and you need to put a check on this vision.
Thank you.
Hi. I have no doubt that all of you want to keep the community college that we've had and loved, and that we didn't go through the accreditation crisis and fight so hard to just end up with a junior college. I know that you have budget concerns, and they're legitimate, but I don't understand cutting classes that will bring in revenue. I don't understand cutting classes without real collaboration, transparency, and input from people that really know what it means to cut those classes. I wish I was as eloquent as Tariq, but I agree with him so much that this is a moral issue. We need to provide the education that San Francisco community needs and deserves.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so Stephanie says, where did this sudden deficit...
But you have 1 minute.
Yeah. Where did this sudden deficit come from? My sense is that there had been little thought given to the cuts. It's reactive rather than proactive. By cutting classes, you cut the hand of the taxpayers that have voted to support City College through bonds. If the college is in financial difficulty, cuts should start with administration and consultants, not the classroom. Every day there's a new job listing, or associate vice chancellor, or business continuity strategy, effectiveness, cabinet level position. Do we need more administrators? We need more faculty, since so many have retired. My concern is that this portends a vacuum of institutional knowledge to hold those in charge accountable. We appear to be working against each other rather than pulling together to forge ahead.
Thank you.
Diane Wallace. I'm an ESL instructor at the John Adams campus and the Civic Center campus. I've taught ESL at CCSF for 28 years now, and I have often thought to myself how proud I am to be part of this institution. For me and my ESL students, our college represents one of the best parts of a democracy, education for all. This is particularly crucial for immigrants who need English language skills in order to function and get ahead in a new country. This semester, my afternoon ESL class at John Adams was cut after 2 weeks because we only had 14 students. The following Monday, 6 new students came to add the class, and I had to direct them to other campuses. The very next day, 3 more students came, and the day after that, 2 more students. I had to turn them all away. If I had been allowed 1 more week to build enrollment, this class would have been viable, and the FTES would have brought increased funding to the college. Now, because of this cancellation, the class will not be reinstated next semester, and because of that, we will only have 1 ESL class in the afternoon at the John Adams campus. Please, please, reconsider cutting classes after 2 weeks.
Thank you.
My name is Irina Damian. I teach a non-credit ESL at the downtown campus. Last semester, my level 4 class, which is a core class in our program, a class that leads to certificates, was cut. The class started with 14 attending, but on the day I was asked to tell the students to go home, 23 students were present. I had to send 23 students home on that day without giving them a single other viable option at the downtown campus. Not to mention losing the many others who tried to enroll in that class in that 3rd week to no avail. This is an open entry program. Despite filing a grievance, this class has not been reinstated for fall next semester. Instead, it has been combined with 3 other levels to maintain the much larger numbers administration is demanding. Combining 4 levels into 1 course makes it far more challenging to support the goal of preparing our students to transfer to certificate or credit programs. Let's keep City College the institution it has always been in supporting immigrants to reach their goals. Thank you.
Thank you.
Julie Acker, can I read for her? Okay.
You have 1 minute.
I'm Dominique speaking for Zooey Acker. Over the past 2 semesters teaching non-credit ESL, both my classes started off the first week with around 10 students. The following week, the classes gained around 5 to 7 students. And the growth continued over the next month so that classes averaged around 25. Had these classes been cut in the beginning, we would have lost the funds and the FTES for all these students. We would have lost these students possibly for good and all the other friends and family members who they would recommend. Any good business knows that the best customer is the one you already have. Cuts work against City College and destroy all that we have slowly been rebuilding since our last crisis. Thank you.
Dominique Gallery and Robert Ayala.
I'm Dominique Gallery.
You have 1 minute.
I am a non-credit ESL instructor here at Chinatown North Beach campus, and I know our non-credit classes are vital to our Chinatown immigrant community, as well as immigrants from all over the city. This is a place where many immigrants get their start with English classes and other classes such as child development and business. Serving the community is not just about getting degrees and transferring to a 4-year university. In the late 1990s, I taught a beginning low ESL class at John Adams, and years later, when I started here at Chinatown North Beach, I met a former student from that class, an immigrant woman from Morocco, who is now the owner of Cafe Brioche, a cafe nearby. Cutting these classes would cut off opportunities. We can't do this. Thank you.
I teach high school here in San Francisco. Some of my students will be your students. Like you, I am concerned that we need to cultivate lifelong learners. And how do we do this in an age when so many things are changing so rapidly? I am here along with 500 signatures gathered to preserve the Shakespeare and storytelling classes in the theater department. I advocate strongly for this because in an environment of constant change, these are the soft skills that students need. Students need many access points to get back into education, particularly after they've disengaged with it for a period, and we need as many access points as possible. What is the point of a community college if not this? I also notice in the theater department there is some classes have been cut. Well, those retained by administrators have been preserved, and this is the appearance of cutting classes to preserve administrators' salaries, and that seems unseemly. Thank you.
Yes, I just want to add to what Robert said, just some anecdotal evidence. I've been a student with John Wilk for over 25 years. I've taken his classes many times. I've been in many of his productions. I can tell you that I currently have my job because of him. I'm a yoga teacher. I teach 10 classes a week over at Go-To Yoga on Ocean Avenue. And I was able to, from these classes alone, from storytelling and from Shakespeare, able to cobble together a dialogue, able to put it together an hour-long class, be able to deliver it, and be able to speak clearly because of what John Wilk trained me to do. Able to think on my feet, able to speak clearly, even though I'm nervous. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Tanaka?
Hi, thank you for letting me speak. I'm also here to support the CCSF Theater Department, like all these people who have talked here, specifically John Wilkes storytelling and Shakespeare classes, which are currently on the chopping block. I myself am a STEM person. I have a PhD in biology, and I'm currently a co-founder of a Bay Area biotech company. That being said, I've also participated in close to a dozen CCSF theater classes and productions. And these experiences have directly and positively affected my personal STEM career. So what I want to say is don't support STEM at the cost of the arts, ever. They're directly correlated with each other and positively affect everything, the community and technology and everything else. So, thank you.
I'm here to add what Adam and Robert in support of the theater department at City College. Recently, we at City College gained international notoriety and were visited by Bernie Sanders, congratulating us for providing free education to San Francisco residents. And now with enrollment up, it seems that there's a move to cut so many courses that would render City College to little more than a trade school. Shakespeare is taught and performed around the globe. It is translated into many, many languages. It's a course that is a jewel in the crown of City College. To cut it is to deny the people who have now just recently gained access to attend college for the first time Shakespeare, rendering Shakespeare's words to something for the cultural elite rather than what it is, something for all of us. Shakespeare was meant to be performed and heard, not read or studied in a vacuum as a literature course would be. The skills learned in this class go far beyond those listed in the syllabus. Oh, thank you.
I'm Teresa Chapman. I'm a construction faculty at City College over at Evans Center. I'm asking for your support of CTE programs. Students directly get jobs from the classes that we teach. And when you cut classes, you cut people from actually getting jobs. I also want to tell you about a bit of institutional history. City College and the high schools of San Francisco used to teach adult ed. They used to teach all the trade classes. About 30 years ago, 25, 30 years ago, City College absorbed that responsibility and has that responsibility to continue to serve the people of San Francisco by providing all kinds of adult ed, including the person who spoke for me before about Shakespeare, including construction, and including automotive. All these things are very, very important. And also thank you for finally seeing that Evans Center needs to be fixed up a bit. I'd love to move the buckets.
Thank you.
The traumatic and destructive cuts that we hear proposed every day are very troubling and reminiscent of the failure of Marin College in its spiral to cut classes of part-time instructors, which led to massive problems in enrollment and funding. There is hope, though, in darkest times. The humane revolutionary California Master Plan for Higher Education is shamefully neglected, but still exists, and the California community college system, although limping along under the current direction of myopic careerist bureaucrats, is still one of the most democratic and successful higher education systems in the world. City College is San Francisco's greatest community treasure and a consistent ally of social and economic justice. If this board empowers the administration to make the proposed cuts, the people will rise up in ways that include a no-confidence vote in Chancellor Rocha, mass mobilizations, civil disobedience, and coalitions of angry Christian people.
Thank you,
And when
Mr.
that
Scott.
happens, when people are haranguing you, we'll make sure you get 1 minute to make your defense.